Hey, coming back at you with a different hair color this week. I hope everybody appreciates it. I know I do. I'm just saying, I like blue. You know who else likes blue? A really cool guy named Erik, whose handle is Kire Blue. So let's welcome him for our 11th week of Anime Book Club. Hey, Erik.
Hey, I like your lead in where you're like I like blue and like I also like blue and I'm wearing a blue shirt. Like great segue.
I mean, I know what you're about, okay? Actually, so Black Milk Clothing has these Pokemon dresses now, and I gotta tell you, the Charmander one and the Fire Pokemon one is sold out in my size, but the Squirtle one is not, and I'm giving it a lot of thought right
Oh,
now, okay? I'm giving it a lot.
I will not be purchasing a Squirtle dress, but I empower everyone to buy one on my behalf.
They also have a really sick-looking Lucario shirt, too.
Okay,
So, yeah.
Lucario was a pretty good Pokemon too.
Yeah, agreed. This is our 11th week of Anime Book Club, which means we are plowing toward the end here. Next week will be our final week of the winter season. We are going to be finishing some shows this week, and then some shows will finish next week, and maybe one or two of them will carry over one more week. But don't worry, because you get us for a whole nother season. We're going to start the
Yeah.
week after next, in 2 weeks from today, the spring season. So, in the spring season, at the end of this episode, we'll give you a little bit of highlight of some of the shows that we're looking to do in the spring season. And since we're at the end of our spin the wheel, you will have the opportunity throughout this show, between now and 2 weeks from now, to add your voice to spinning the wheel. You can see the suggestion link below. It's a bit.ly link. Feel free to suggest anything on Crunchyroll, Verve, or Funimation. We have access to all of those platforms. If it's not on one of those platforms, don't suggest it because we can't get access to it super duper easily. And there's a couple of rules. If it's something super duper common, don't suggest it because we're not going to pick it. Everybody's seen Full Metal Alchemist, so don't suggest it. We've already seen it. The idea is to find stuff that's hidden gems or hidden terrors. It needs to be either very, very good or very, very bad. So and no pornography either, because we're not that kind of show. So more power
Not
to you.
that kind of show.
Not that kind of show. So yeah, we'll periodically be referencing this, and you can put in your suggestions there. We take any and all suggestions, but we don't guarantee to use it because honestly, your taste could be crap, and we know that. I've seen a lot of shows, so come at me, bro, with whatever you want. But on to this week, Dr. Stone. Hi, Dr. Stone. Dr. Stone
Yep.
reached a new level of crap. Not crap, I guess. The show's not crap, but pseudoscience nonsense that doesn't fit in with its own narrative. Like, thanks, Dr. Stone.
I mean, it plays very elusive science sometimes, and I mean, it's not. I don't. It doesn't try to be 100% like here's a guy to do all these experiments at home and all this stuff is one for one with the real world. I mean, it tries to be based in science, but it doesn't tie itself down to what's like physically possible. So I mean, it takes some anime liberties, but I'm not mad at it.
Well, okay, so this one took liberties the whole episode, okay? So first of all, you've got this is kind of in magic magic in the show, which it's fine. That's okay because it makes sense in the show. The idea that even though Tsukasa's sister had a pre-existing condition that had her basically comatose and unresponsive for 10 years or something like that, or some really long period of time, that magically when she was Medusa'd, that they could fix her brain with the Medusa power.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird that the stoning could fix problems that they had before it happened. That's a little weird, but because I mean we saw that happen in the first few episodes where Senku gets his neck broken after the fact,
Yeah.
and because of that, when the piece of his neck get the water splashed on it, then he revives.
Yeah.
But it is a little weird that it can cure conditions that happened before the person
Well, also,
turned
it wasn't
stone.
even like she wasn't even a physical condition. I mean, it was like a brain chemistry thing. He like broke bones, and she had like a brain chemistry problem. There's a fly. Hey, oh, did I get it? Oh
Did
my
you
god,
get
I
it?
think I got it.
Oh my
Yeah, I
god.
totally did. Look at that. Look at that. I'm a
Show
monster,
show it
okay?
on the screen. Show the dead fly on
Dead
screen.
fly. Right there. I got it. I got it, man. Ugh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
no.
fly thought you was
So
Mike Pence.
yeah, no, man. She had brain chemistry stuff, and it's like, oh, well, she's been Medusa. First of all, he had no reason to believe that that would fix her brain chemistry problem, because the only experience he has with it is with like bone breakage and things like
Yeah.
that. First of all, and why would you logically think it would anyway? But hey, it worked. So okay, I guess the show is magic. All right. But
Also,
the
you base your
problem,
whole plan on that being like your whole bet is based on this being success. Because if it failed, it's like, well, the peace agreement is over, guys. Pack it up.
yeah. No, it's ridiculous. But the thing that bothered me the most in this one, and I feel like I just got hung up on it, is I'm gonna stab Sukasa in the lung. And not only is he gonna be able to talk and fight, he's not even gonna like cough anything up until the end of the fight. Do you know what happens when someone pierces a lung? Like your whole lung fills up with blood, and like you can't talk. You're gargling while you're dying. I mean, what?
Yeah. So Tsukasa getting stabbed and still being able to fight and talk. It was definitely like kind of like it definitely isn't possible. They try to chalk it up to being like, oh, it's Tsukasa. He's like this wild man that's just like
Yeah, he
inherently
still
strong.
has
So of
human
course,
anatomy. Human
yeah,
anatomy, okay? It's ridiculous. And then
yeah,
the biggest crap was at the end. So the scene you're looking at right here, Senku has like basically wired up a battery to himself to like shock the guy from a taser, and he moves incredibly slowly towards this
yeah. I don't know
incredibly
why.
highly trained dude who could have just jumped away at any point and doesn't.
Yeah, that scene probably seemed less egregious in the manga because in the manga you can have like the whole dialogue in one bubble and then you can have the action on another. And so it probably didn't seem that crazy in the manga, but in the anime, he literally had to spend the whole time talking about how this works and how he's going to shock him and then slowly move towards him and it's like it just doesn't translate that well.
Yeah, I thought that was ridiculous. I thought this whole episode was ridiculous, but you know what? Whatever. And this is episode 10, so I think Dr. Stone is going to be one of those shows that when we start our spring season, we'll have to talk about the last episode of this season of Dr. Stone, since it's one episode kind of behind where we are. But I
Oh, maybe,
imagine we have
maybe.
to this, so yeah. I don't know.
Yeah,
More ridiculous.
this whole Sukasa fight did it reminded me of how in video games where you beat like kind of like the sub boss and you beat him and he finally reveals that he's a good guy and he joins your party, but when he joins your party he's not as strong or he's seriously wounded to the point where he can't do all his like devastating
Yep.
attacks that he had before. At the moment Sukasa switches sides, the moment he joins Senku, oh, all of a sudden he's not this unstoppable wild man anymore. It's like, come
Yep.
on, man.
Yep. Yeah, when you wrote that in the notes, the only thing I could think about is in Kingdom Hearts 3 when you play the Frozen Land and you fight Marshmallow, who, for reference, Marshmallow is my favorite character in Frozen. But when you fight Marshmallow and then Marshmallow becomes part of your party, and I wish Marshmallow was the same level as when you fought him when he becomes part of your party, but clearly he's not. Like,
Yeah, I
clearly
still have
he's
to
not.
play Kingdom Hearts 3. It comes out, I think, in like a couple days, I think, on PC. So I'll be
You're gonna
buying
get it?
that. Yeah,
Like you'll enjoy Frozen Land because you like Frozen so much. So
yeah.
I enjoyed Frozen Land. I did all my grinding in Frozen Land. So but yeah, Dr. Stone, fun times. Higurashi.
All right.
You know,
So
all right, I got
this is
opinions
really
for
dragged out
okay.
at this point.
It is. When we started this halfway through the Higurashi Go season. I hadn't
Mhm.
watched any of Higurashi. And I started this and I thought it was kind of intriguing. And then I kind of like got into it. Like I got into this show. And I feel like they've whiffed it in the last like 3 episodes. And it's like you had me. You had me right here. And I was ready to go. And I was ready to go to bat for Higurashi. And then they just completely whiffed it in the last 3 episodes.
So I feel like they got put into a situation where they got 24 episodes, but they only had like 19 episodes of content. And they were like, well, we got to do like the big season 2 reveal. So let's just slow roll this for a little bit. And I'm like, come on. Like I feel like that's one reason why, although I hate a lot of the ways Netflix kind of handles their anime licensing and premiering. I hate it, but at the same time, I love the way that a lot of like anime or shows on Netflix aren't locked into like 24 episodes, and even the episodes aren't locked into being like exactly 30 minutes, right? And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
if you don't have the content, just don't do it. Like just cut it short at whatever 19 episodes if that's all you got. But
Yeah.
no,
It's
they had
they
to drag it
drag
out.
they Sadako's like learning how to be a looper storyline has just dragged out in the second half of the season, and it's just like I was there. I was there all the way through, Chandelier crashing on both of the girls, and now, we're in a loop and we watch 100 years. I think that was dumb, but we watch 100 years of her. Okay, I'm in. But then side story with her uncle that doesn't really go anywhere, and then no conclusion in this last episode of any type. You're not going back to the scene where she finds like the teddy bear in the closet. You got nothing. Like you got nothing. It just kind of ended. And
Yeah.
it's
But this
yeah.
episode did have a few. It did have a few things in it. So we did get to see like Takano's backstory. We know a lot about as if you watched Higurashi all of it to this point, you know a lot about Takano, but we never saw who she is once she kind of like starts to doubt the path she's on. And so we get to see that Takano, um, if given the opportunity, she could be like a good guy. And so we saw that she found a letter from her grandfather, and he was like, I know you like really was mad that my research got thrown away, but like you can't spend your whole life following this path. So we get to see Takano redeemed
Yeah.
a little bit for the first time. And and so it's a little weird because she has always been the main villain, but it seems that Satoko is like really determined to have everything that Takano built up to this point kind of like come to fruition. So Satoko steals the serum out of her briefcase, which is the most unsecure briefcase of all time. Like that briefcase was garbage. Like at first I thought that Satoko, I thought she put in like a million different passwords in order to like kind of like force her way into it. But no,
Yeah.
the briefcase tells you, like when she pressed one,
Yeah.
2, the briefcase said no, 2 is not the correct digit. So then she pressed one,
Very
3.
insecure.
And it's like this is a bioweapon. Of all the crimes Takano have committed to at this till now, right? Her biggest crime is putting a bioweapon in a briefcase that's less secure than a padlock, right? That is your biggest
Yep.
crime to this day.
Yep.
So I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Oh, welcome, Merriman, and please be excited because this is the last day we ever have to talk about Yashahime. But that's coming later.
Oh boy. Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was super insecure. It was super insecure, but I feel like nothing happened in this episode. Like nothing freaking happened. That's all she did was show the her stealing the drug. That's what we
Yeah.
got. That's it,
And then
and
at
we
the
should be
end,
grateful for it. I guess I don't know.
and then at the very end, there was like a little nod to like people that have watched Yumi Neko because Satoko was kept saying, "Oh, I will certainly win," and this is certainly going to happen. She kept repeating the word certainly, and so it kind of
Mm-hmm.
it so her character in Yumi Neko is the witch of certainty. So it kind of just like more allusions to like, oh yeah, they really are the same person. So that's pretty much what the episode was.
And we get another season of this in July. So
Yeah,
yay! At least there's something coming soon. So I'm grateful for that. Overall, I like Higurashi, although I do think they whiffed it in the end here. So
yeah.
Heaven's Design Team.
So
Look
I
at
mean,
how cute
this
they are.
another week, another good episode.
It was so cute. Oh my god. You had okay, first of all, the client from hell is the best client ever. Okay.
Yeah, he
Oh
encourages
my
them.
god.
He lets them like fulfill their dreams, and he wants them to input their personalities into their work, and he asks them their input, and he gives them very specific details about what is necessary for the project. He is a good leader. Like, he
Yeah,
is an
I like it.
ideal
Like,
leader.
he's having a lot of trouble trying to figure out his creative juices. Well, let me see what you do freeform. I'd love to see that. It'll help spur your creative nature. And like, come on, he's the best client. And like,
I
I want
know.
that as a client. Like, oh my god. And I love that it's like, I want this demonic imp to help me, and it turns into a bunny, a little baby
I
bunny.
Yeah, so they like, that was I was not expecting that. I was expecting them to make like another, like, because they made the Cerberus last episode, like
Yeah, they
five
made the
episodes
Cerberus,
ago.
and they made the Bahamut or whatever with the goat-headed
Yeah,
dude in one episode,
so I
and
was like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah, yeah.
we're gonna get something crazy. What's this gonna look like? Oh, it's just a rabbit. Okay, now we
Just
all
a
know that
rabbit.
rabbits are the spawn of Satan.
They are. Well, I knew that rabbits ate like they poop twice, and they eat the first level of poop. Like they poop one type of poop, and then they eat that poop, and then they poop a different type of poop that they don't eat. And rabbits are
I
really
just
messy.
realized
I don't
something.
know.
Heaven's Design Team and ReZero take place in the same universe, and the rabbits they made are the murder rabbits in ReZero. I connected the dots. Big brain right here.
No, clearly they're the murder rabbits from there, and then the rabbit from Monty Python. You know.
Yeah, but yeah, we get to see the
This
angels get transformed to younger version of themselves, which is really
Uh,
fun.
I,
I
I learned a lot
would
about
say,
piranhas that I didn't know this week. Like that
yeah,
piranhas
we learned
don't
about
actually like
piranhas.
a lot of the stuff that they tell you about piranhas and that you think is accurate is not really accurate. They bite like the fins off of fish so that the fish like keep going, and they just eat part of it, and they don't like
Yeah,
swarm usually like that. Yeah, I learned a
I
lot.
feel like I feel like piranhas and like fire ants kind of got looped together, where like fire ants will devour everything whole, well, till there's nothing left. Piranhas just take little bits, like, hey, I'll be back later. Like,
Just a snack. Just a snack.
yeah.
But it
One
was
thing I
really
was
cute. I
disappointed
didn't
about
know
this episode. I would say one thing I was disappointed about this episode is that Mars always gets like the short end of the stick. Like Mars, she's not like one of the main designers, so
yeah.
she never has like a moment where she goes through her thought process with things. It's pretty much just hers. Like, oh, this isn't going to work, or this will work. And so she already gets less screen time than the main designers. And then when they was like, oh, Mars and the older guy are together, and they're trying to find all the other angels, it was like, oh, Mars, can you go back and fix the device off screen? And it's like, come on, she doesn't get any screen time, and you're already going to take
Yeah.
this one episode where literally no one else is in there. You want to take that from her
Yeah.
too. So it's a little
Hey, that's
disappointing.
what happens. That's what happens when you get stuck in engineering, man. Okay, like engineering, they don't get enough respect. All right, engineers don't get enough respect. That is what it is.
You know,
But this was a super duper cute episode. I didn't know that there were fake piranha fish that looked like piranha fish but weren't piranha fish. That's kind of neat. Or wait, they were vegetarian piranhas, so to speak.
yeah.
But this was cute. I think next
Yeah.
week will probably be our last episode of Heaven's Design Team, and yeah, it should be pretty cute. And we
Probably.
get to meet God. I want to know what God looks like, the client here.
This episode ended on another cliffhanger, and so wow. So in order to go to the party, they went to a party in hell, and in order to go there, they had to lie to God and say, hey, like I think it was Saturn. It was like he's not feeling very well right now, so we had to go. Like he's gonna be behind on his project. So while they're down there, God, if they find out God was invited to hell as well, and so right when he's about to walk through the door, the episode ends.
Yep. So we get to see God. It'll be fun. Next week.
Yep.
Code Black. Code Black. This is
in terms of the show that will not be coming back next week.
This is true, because this was the last episode of Code Black. Where we left off is the body was shutting down because like the ventricular aorta or something was completely clogged, and the heart's like, well, guess we're packing it in, hitting the old dusty trail, and the whole body just shuts down. But as you can tell from the crackling here, they used a defibrillator to shock the heart and bring him back. And everything was back to normal. It took a long time, but there was like all this heartfelt delivery of oxygen. Oh, I thought you were going to be dead, and here you are, and here's your oxygen. And it was
Yeah,
really
even the
cute.
old lady that was always like giving him crap. It's like, oh, I thought she was gonna abandon me. I always yell at you, and it redeems her. It's like, oh, you're such a good red blood cell. And he was like, I'm just doing my job, ma'am. And I'm like, okay.
It was great. It was absolutely great. I mean, these cells really love this person. Okay, they really love it. But I especially appreciated the zinger at the end. So you've got this whole
Yeah,
thing, and you think you're over, and then all of a sudden they get sucked up into something. Ah, the person gave blood, and they wake up, and they're in a completely different body, and they have to start all
yeah.
over again because this body is crap too.
Yeah,
So
what the
yeah,
most important line is they said this is even a worse cold black than before. So they're
and
in an
before.
even worse body. Like how could it possibly how is there anything worse than what this man had going on for him? Like he literally was in like getting some type of treatment every single episode for some type of chronic disease or some type of like major malfunction. And it's like, oh my God, they really want to like turn the knife.
Yep.
So
Yep. I liked it though.
more
I
and
liked
more
the
to
zinger at
spare.
the end. I thought it was pretty clever. I was not expecting that. I really was not expecting that at all. So I'm happy we went there.
It is
I don't know.
it is going to be a
I,
little
I don't think
it's
they're
going to be a
gonna.
little
I
weird
don't
for a
think they're gonna
second
make a
season
second
though.
season. Yeah, I
I
don't think
mean,
they're gonna make a
maybe.
second season.
Like I imagine it might be a manga. The manga might continue, but it would be
Yeah,
a little weird because it's like the main character he got broken in this situation. Like he was like, look, I can't do it. Like I'm clocking out. Please just kill me right now. I'm done. Like we're done.
yeah,
And so like for him to go back to square one, it's like, can you even like mentally like deal with that?
yeah, yeah.
So
I don't know. I liked this show. I was very happy with Code Black. It was definitely one of the highlights of the week for me. I thought it was a cute premise, and I think it didn't get stale. Like they did enough different stuff that it didn't get too stale, and I appreciate that too.
yeah,
What did you think of it, Eric?
I liked it. I feel so. There were rumors in the very beginning that the show was going to end with COVID, and so the rumors I guess turned out to be not true. But I I do think that they approach a very good selection of different diseases, disorders, and I
Yeah,
do think just as the show right now, it's pretty good. It's a pretty good kind of like PSA to take care of yourself. I kind of
yeah,
think that it should be like played when it comes in English, it should be played in like every high school. I kind of would support another season though. I would like to see where this would go if there's more content.
okay, okay. All right,
All
Promise
right,
Neverland. All right, Eric.
Promise Neverland.
Let me give you a heads up. Okay, this is I've read the manga, and Eric has not. Eric, if you like this show, you need to read the manga
Yeah, I
because
will.
I don't know what they're doing in season two. I don't know who made these editing decisions. I question it real heavily. Um,
Did you see
yeah,
the meme video of the guy of, pretending that he works at like an anime company and he's like, oh, we just got the most popular manga of all time. Sweet, I'm about to go work on it right now. And his boss comes in, oh, what can we change though? And he's like, we're not changing anything, but we can though. But we're not, but we are. It's a pretty funny video. I don't know the name of it. I kind of saw it like mixed in between YouTube stuff. I mean, Facebook stuff.
yeah.
But it's really funny, and it seems like an accurate representation of what happened here. It's like the most popular
Oh,
manga currently right now, and you're just going to like change all this.
oh, I can't tell you
So
how bad this is compared to the manga, Eric. Like, I can't, all right? First of all, the whole premise of this episode does not make sense. They've decided to now rush to the end of the series, apparently, and cut out huge swaths of everything. And we just found out Norman is on the good side, and everybody is flipped over to not killing all of the demons, but they've got to break out all of the other farm people, like Phil and the little children. So they just have this plan with very slow moving hot air balloons, some of which are a decoy, but some of which are not, to infiltrate these incredibly highly monitored facilities, and they get real far into it before they get caught, and it just
So
it doesn't
did
make
they
sense.
cut? So is the hot air balloon plan not in the manga at all?
I don't remember exactly how this happens in the manga. Like, they do go back for the other kids, and there's a bunch of stuff. There's a lot of political stuff in the manga with the demon, like the demons themselves that they're not really going into here. There's a lot of political stuff with the Ratri family that they're not going into here. Like, there's giant chunks of things we're not addressing. And the big, yeah, and also the super scary demons go down with a bonk on the head with a pipe. Yeah, they had to like destroy these demons in the manga. Like at some points where they're like cutting people's limbs, and I mean, like it took a lot of effort to bring down a demon in the manga, and it just it's really frustrating.
Yeah.
So at the end of this
It also is
episode, you
weird
get
that I would say it's also
go
really
ahead.
weird that like the kids. They show like all the little kids being transported out of the farm, but then the like Emma's crew, like the youngest members of Emma's crew, just casually walk into the group while the mothers' backs are turned, and they like go discuss their plans. And hey, Emma, here's a note from Emma. This is what we're about to do. And it's like none of the mothers realized that they had suddenly doubled the number of kids they had. Nobody
Yeah,
realized that all of a sudden, like the kids are talking, whispering behind your back. Like, are you not watching them? Like, if you're not going to be the guard, what are you doing? Like,
yeah,
so it's
yeah.
really weird. There was a lot of hand waving in here, but
Oh, there was a ton of it. And then, okay, so you get to the end of this episode, and it's what I think a lot of people were expecting, and what happened in the manga too. Grandmother Isabella now has flipped sides, and she's changed sides to be on the side of the kids, and basically like, hey, begging for forgiveness kind of thing, and being on the human side. That happened in the manga at the very end. It was really far into the manga, and it really feels like they're going to try to shove the end of this series into like the next 2 or 3 episodes. And that's going to hurt my soul, okay? I need you to understand, Erik, that's going to do the biggest disservice to this show of anything I think I could think of, okay? It's you really need to read the manga. Like
I
this
will. I
this
will.
feels like in 5 years down the road, you're going to have a Full Metal Alchemist situation where some anime company, a different anime production house, remakes this entire series and does it better. That's what I feel
I
like.
don't. I don't think. I don't. I think we're kind of. I think we might be beyond that because
You
I
think
think
so?
so many
Because
shows come out all the time. I don't see a studio remaking things as much, because I feel like we're more likely to see just random things that haven't had a season in like 30 years come back, not them completely remaking something. But I do feel it probably does.
no,
It could benefit from a Brotherhood.
I know it could benefit from a remake, but it's just not good.
Yeah,
Everything's happening very fast. A lot of it doesn't make sense. A lot of things are getting skipped. Like the whole demon infrastructure and their whole society and how that changes and how they have like the royal people and the normal people, and it's all very intricate, and they spent like a good amount of chapters on that kind of crap in the manga, and we're running through it. We're running through it as fast as we can, and I don't get it.
yeah. We also
But
don't get to see. We also don't get to see how the demons suddenly like came onto the human side because like you literally was about to get exterminated like 2 weeks ago. Like
yeah,
it's really hard to be like, hey, I just dropped a bioweapon in your town and tried to murder all the adults and children. Come to our
yeah,
side. Like
yeah,
there has to be some sit down where somebody's like, hey, that wasn't cool. Like, let's talk
yeah.
about this.
Yeah, yeah. No, I agree. I agree. It's a thing. But uh all right.
Quince, another show that's about to wrap up.
Go for.
Um,
Oh god. Okay, so when you said we were watching this Quint show, I thought it was going to be generic harem garbage. And it is to a degree. But in the last I'm going to go 3 episodes, This has devolved into I hate every character, just about. I really
Miku is not deserving of any hate.
Oh no, she absolutely no. I kind of hate her too. I hate all. I don't really hate Yotsuba, but I think her character is dumb and badly written. So I guess I don't hate Yotsuba, but that doesn't mean I like Yotsuba. I just, yeah. Peace sign.
So I feel like
Peace signs.
within so I feel like so let's start with Nino. I feel like the Nino, my opinion, Nino started really low and kept getting lower until it hit rock bottom. And then all of a sudden, they put in all their effort to bring Nino out of the grave, and now she's finally an acceptable human being, right?
She is.
So
She is. She's
I
gotten better.
don't hate the current Nino. The current Nino is vastly different than what we had before. So the current Nino
That's
isn't
true.
actually a
But
hateable character.
you can't look at just Nino in the last like 2 episodes. You got to look at Nino in the
Yeah.
whole series. And she was garbage earlier. All right, she was hot garbage. All right.
Yeah.
Now, so we're gonna go Nino's trash. Let's put that over there. Okay.
Okay.
I
Your
started
girl
out
Ichika.
loving Ichika. I thought she was great until she decided to throw ethics out the window. And I don't know why. There was no build-up. There was no real strong reason. And I'm like,
I mean, there is a reason. She felt that she was being
but
kind of like the older sister that always looking out for people, and because of that, she never got an opportunity. So she felt like the
yeah,
only
no,
way she
I
can.
know, but there was no setup for this. It was poorly written, and she just went full tilt, and she keeps doing it, and it doesn't make any sense. All right, her character became trash. She started out okay, and then she became trash. Okay, so
Yeah.
Ichika, trash.
It's funny
All right.
because weeks ago, Crunchyroll was saying who's best girl, and they had like a Facebook post, and I posted one of the comments saying that Nino is a degenerate, right? And so all the comments that I got replies were Ichika is a real degenerate, and this was before she turned, right? This was before, so the manga reader's like, no, Ichika is a real degenerate, and I'm like, you know what? She kind of is.
I can't stand any of it. All right, let's go to Itsuki. Yeah, right.
Ichika.
Main character, like as you call her, main character. All right.
Yeah, like she
Main
sounds like
character.
she should be the main character, but she's not apparently.
She does. She can't commit. I feel like she just needs to commit to stuff. And now she's all wishy-washy. She's in like the phase that like, a couple of them were in like maybe 4 episodes ago, where they were kind of all wishy-washy and I don't really know if I love him and this and that, and I'm like, catch up, man.
No,
Catch up.
I don't think she doesn't love him at all. I mean, she like acknowledged that he's a guy, and like she's like she gets embarrassed by a certain time when they're like too close to each other. But she was setting up Yotsuba this whole episode. She was setting up Yotsuba. She was
setting up Yotsuba. But now she's in the same position that Ichika was when she was trying to, help out one of the other ones. It's still weird. It still doesn't make any sense. She's still nervous around him. She still clearly has feelings for him. So maybe she's not completely in the trash, but she's like halfway there. Okay. Now let me get to your girl, your girl. Okay.
She has done no wrong. Miku has never done anything wrong.
Miku was okay. I was okay with Miku. I was okay with Miku when she was defending her sisters, when they were fighting over like the school crap. All right, I was on board. Whatever. Miku has turned into. Oh, let me put a good example for you. She's turned into that chick from Clannad, and I hate that chick from Clannad.
Okay? The main girl?
Yes. She's my least favorite character in Clannad, okay? Because she can't do anything in her life without encouragement. I have to be encouraged to do anything. I have to be encouraged to do this. I have to be encouraged to leave my room. I have to be encouraged to go to activities. She's become
That's not fair. That's not fair.
Crap. Okay.
Okay, but she's a 14-year-old girl with insecurity issues. Like, if anything, that's the most believable part in this show.
You mean like everybody else insecure. In the show? Everybody else in this show is the same age as her. Give me a break.
Whatever.
All
She's
right.
like she's a teenage girl that like is really scared of being hurt. That's not even that outrageous. That's not her reaction isn't even that outrageous.
She is the least deserving one to be with main dude. Although I hate main dude too for lots of other reasons.
Okay, but you didn't everything that propped her up was in season 1. So you haven't really seen they've been focused on everybody else since season 2.
Okay.
So
Okay.
she actually, in my opinion, is the most deserving. She was the very first person that was actually even nice to him, because the other girls like waged war against him for the first half of season 1, and she was like, "Nah, let's not do this. Like, he's not actually a bad guy." So she's been in his corner since literally episode 2.
She's still in
But
the
whatever.
garbage for me. If I had to
How
pick one
dare.
girl that I wanted him to be with, it would be main character chick at this point, because she's the only one that's not completely in the garbage for me. Okay,
Dang.
like,
But yeah,
I can't.
I mean,
we found
I
out
think
the
so.
winner at the end of. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, the big reveal. You can say it.
Yeah, the big reveal at the end of this episode is Rena, that he met as a little boy, is Yosuba. So oh yeah, she stole the photo. That was the other thing. She stole the photo from him too. And so main character chick is like, Yotsuba, when are you gonna tell him that you're the one who he met in Kyoto when you were little kids? Because she recognized your sister in the photo. She also stole his photo, his very important photo that he's been carrying around for like most of his life. So that's a little unethical. I mean, if I'm saying so myself, you know.
I mean, she's gonna get it back. She just needs it right now.
Oh, no, there's not going to
I'm
be
pretty
wacky
sure she will.
shenanigans when she loses it, and then somebody else winds up with it because this is a harem show, and that's exactly what's going to happen. Oh.
Nah. But there was one more reveal. The other reveal was that the main character has always known that Miku liked him, which is pretty wild for a lot of reasons. Because the trope is that every harem show, the main character has to be dense and completely oblivious and not know anything. That is the prerequisite for every harem setup, right? For the main character to have any self-awareness in a harem show, everything breaks down. So at the very end, we realize that he's known since the beginning that Miku liked him, but yet he never acknowledged it. He never talked to her about it. Like, he never, like, nothing, like, he just completely ignored it. And that's very strange considering how much she has done specifically to try to like get like good favor with him, right? Because he's always been so like, "Oh, you baked me cookies? Oh, it's Valentine's Day. Surely this means nothing." Like, if he already knew, then clearly he should know what these signs mean.
Hey, do you know what that means? Main character got Futaro or whatever. Hey, guess where he's going?
Oh,
the trash.
God, in the trash. So it's a little weird.
Trash. He deserves to be in the trash, maybe more than any of the rest of them, because of things like this. Like, that's cruel, man. That's kind of cruel. Just leading her on and not. It's kind of cruel.
Yeah.
You know. Just saying.
I'm gonna give some of them a pass that they're teenagers, but I don't have enough passes for everyone.
Do we have one more episode of this show or two? I hope one.
I'm not sure.
Well, we'll find out. But we have at least one because the show's not over for the season. Spider. A breath of fresh air after Quince. Every single week.
Some good food.
Yes! Finally, some good food. Okay. Spider.
Spider is fun.
Spider she keeps leveling. She's got a plan to kill the Earth Dragon and maybe some other dragons now too. She's like, yeah I gotta get strong. I love that. I love it so much.
The episode starts off with Kumiko. She accidentally maxed out her taboo stat. She pressed the wrong button and accidentally hit taboo. And apparently the benefit of getting a maxed out taboo is that you learn all the secret knowledge that the world has been trying, like the humans have been trying to keep secret for all these years. And so they threw it at you really, really fast. They had a bunch of stills, they had a bunch of text on it. But the text shows that apparently the humans learning how to use magic, whenever they use magic, it drains the life force of the world. I think kind of like Final Fantasy VII, but I never actually played Final Fantasy VII. But so whenever they use magic force, it drains the life energy of the world. And all the dragons understood this, and they started attacking humans out of retaliation. And so that's why the dragons are a thing, and that's why they don't play nice with humans. Simply because they understand the humans are literally killing the planet. And so apparently the administrators can't do anything about it. So that's why she's leveling up,
Yeah.
because she realized that if nothing happens, the whole world is going to be destroyed. So she's
Yeah.
aggressively leveling, and she's like, "I gotta kill these Earth dragons. Get this is XP. I gotta get these stats up." And so she is like
Yep.
just killing everything. She murders like an entire colony of bees just because they were in the way. Like she's like, "I gotta set up this battlefield. I'm about to fight this dragon. You guys are literally in the way. You're all going to die right now." So
Yep. Just
she's like,
murderizes the whole hive
you know,
completely. It was pretty great.
this season
Uh, it,
of anime has been brought to you by the letter G for genocide. Because
It
everyone,
has. There's so much genocide in this season of anime. I don't know why it's such a thing. We'll get to more of it later. Norman,
you
we've
know,
already been through, and then the Spider Show, and we're just chugging right along with the genocide here. It's a little bit
you know,
terrifying, but yeah. So then you go to the human side, and not at all foreshadowing anything. Your main hero guy, new hero guy, and his Faye, the Earth Dragon,
yeah,
mini Earth Dragon.
Julius and Faye.
Yeah, Julius and Faye. Oh, why don't you make a contract with me so that I can summon you anytime, and you can help out. Oh, sure. There's nothing that could possibly go wrong when I can force you to do things against your will in the future. That's not foreshadowing at all.
Yeah,
No.
like he's a good guy, and at the moment he has no ill intentions for using their
Yeah,
contract,
I mean, they
but
set that up so
a
obviously.
lot of
Like
things are setting up. So
yes, yeah. Oh, and now I'm like 100% convinced his brother's not dead. And it's definitely like somebody who has administrator access just removed that title from his brother because, oh, look at that. The only guy that survived comes back and he's like, I didn't actually see your brother's body. I just found his like cape and it looked like somebody used rot and he's disappeared. And that dude's
yeah,
not
so
dead,
like
all right?
I mean, maybe not. I'm not 100% sure, but I mean, so the whole point of the guy comes back and says he had a phoenix feather in his pocket, and it allowed him to
Yeah.
like literally be destroyed and come back to life regardless, right? And so he's like, yeah. So they used this girl dressed in all white opened up her eyes and used a rod attack, and everyone literally like disintegrated. But I didn't see
Oh, that
anything.
sounds really
I just know
familiar
I
too.
died.
Who
Yeah.
uses
So
eye attacks and rot attacks that we know
you know,
of? I mean,
So, and also, if you paid close attention to the white haired girl, when she opened up her eye, she had 6 irises in each eye. Like her eyes are filled with like little red orbs, and so it seems like she has just a massive amount of eyes that are just conveniently like in one eye socket, right? So it seems like the white
mm-hmm.
haired girl really is the spider, but I feel like the show might be trying to do a misdirect because Kuriko's personality feels more and more like the Demon Lord girl. Like they like
Yeah,
that the Demon Lord girl is design. She has way too much design in her in order to be like not
yeah,
like main, right? So I feel like they're trying to misdirect us where Kumiko might be the demon girl and the white hair girl might be like the loner chick that we saw in the flashback.
yeah,
But
yeah.
either
I
way,
could
it's
see that.
one of the two.
Yeah.
So
Uh, I love the show. I hope we're getting another set of it and not just like one or two more episodes, but we'll see. I hope so. Maybe we'll get a second half like in July or something. That'd be great.
yeah,
Oh, I need everybody to bear with me and just take a deep breath.
as we mourn the death of Yashahime. Lay it
We
in the
never have to
ground.
watch. We
Put it in the
never have to
ground.
watch another
Say your
episode
last
of
words of
Yashahime.
respect.
There will be
Boy,
another
oh
season,
boy.
but you know who's not
Boy, oh
following
boy.
Yashahime ever again? It's us.
Man,
We're
you
never
know,
watching it again. Okay.
you, you know,
Ugh.
I might watch season 2. I might watch it. I'm not 100% committed to like abandoning ship yet, but man, everyone was so
Too
hyped
soon.
for this season. Everyone was so hyped for
Dude,
the series.
I'm bailing out. I'm jumping into the ocean. I'm swimming toward the shore, okay? I'm done. I am done with Yashahime on every level it is possible to be done with this garbage dump of an anime, okay?
It is pretty
Garbage
bad.
dump.
Like there's just so many reasons. There's just so many reasons to like be upset with the show. Like if you're a fan of Inuyasha, like it doesn't deliver at all in terms of like bringing back nostalgia or your characters. Like the only character that really like came back was Moroku. Right? He had a few moments. He kind of feels a little like a different character because like kind of like his old character is kind of like so much defined by sexual harassment that to see him being more
Yeah.
chill now almost feels like a different guy. But
Yeah.
at least he came back. At least we get to see what he's doing. If you came to the show for Inuyasha, Kagome, anybody besides Moroku or the little brother, anybody but them, you're gonna be vastly disappointed. And
Yep.
so there's no plot, there's no direction. It's just like throwing whatever they can against the wall, seeing what sticks, see what sticks, and then it doesn't even take what sticks. Like some stick, they just keep throwing. Like it doesn't even make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. Um,
Oh, okay,
this
so
this this week we
there's
got
a lot
space. We
there's
got
a
outer
lot
space
going
this week.
there's so much going on in this episode and none of it makes sense, okay? So you've
Yeah.
got Kirinmaru, who now is in the past and the future, and he's watching the stuff in the future while the comet is coming back in the future timeline. And he's a teacher, and he was Toa's teacher at the freaking school. All
Yep.
right, cool.
That's all we know about that
I
plot.
yeah,
Nothing else. I don't even know
yep,
why that plot
that's
is
it.
in this season. That could have been saved for next season, honestly. If you want to, like, there was no reason to set that up this season. Like, we don't know anything about it. Like,
There was another 2-second reference to Sashomaru not getting the pinwheel from some little kid that still hasn't been explained, and we have no kind of information on that part of it either. Okay.
yeah, we don't know what the pinwheel means. We don't know why it's able to send people through time. We don't know how Kimura was able to go through time without it. That plot hasn't been resolved. We don't know anything more about that. So that could have been
You
saved for
don't
next
okay.
season as well.
Then you Zero who got killed but then got revived and then promptly destroyed Tetsega or what the one that heals. I don't know.
Tenseiga, yeah.
The yeah. Okay. Promptly destroys it. And then she's like, I don't want the pearls, but now I want the pearls. But then Kirinmaru scatters the pearls everywhere for some reason. And
Yeah, and
then
his reason for doing it. Here's the bad part. Here's the bad part. His reason for scattering the pearls, where he says that Zero had become so vain in terms of relying on the pearls. And I'm like, no. If anything,
she
that's the
hasn't
exact
even
opposite of
had
what
the
happened. She
pearls.
threw them away
Yeah.
and went out of her way to avoid seeing these pearls ever again, right? And
Yeah, she was
then
mad.
Riku was
She
like,
was
hey,
mad when Riku brought them
yeah, she
back,
was
and she's
like,
like, "Why
get
did
this
you
away from
bring them
me.
back? What? What are
So
we even
she
talking about?"
So she gets mad for a second and says, fine, I'll use the pearls. I'll use the pearls to kill the Shomaru because I'm mad at him. Even though he literally just brought me back from the dead. Whatever, I'm mad. And then Kimaru was like, oh, don't rely on the pearls. And then just throws them to the wind. And I'm like, okay.
Well, and then she
All the time,
nopes out.
the whole season has been setting up finding these pearls. And now it means nothing. Absolutely. Can you imagine? Can you imagine Goku searching a whole season for the Dragon Balls, finding them, and before he can make a wish, the guy's like, you know what? Never mind. Just scatter them.
It's ridiculous. And then you've got Karen. She nopes out, right? And then Riku's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna give her a fighting chance," and stabs Kirinmaru, and it doesn't do anything
Yeah.
because then
He's
he's
like, I'm
just
gonna
like,
stab you
"Nope,"
and nope out.
and nope out. And it's
Yeah.
like, what was the point of that? And then Kirimaru doesn't even care about chasing her anyway. So this whole
Sashomaru's like,
season,
I'll take care of it. I'll handle it, bro. I'll handle your sister. And Sashomaru just leaves. Just leaves.
yeah,
And his daughters are still in the battlefield. He's like, no, I'm chasing after Zero. Like,
Well, and
why?
it doesn't
Like,
make sense. But
why?
he's chasing after Zero after he just revived her because he knows that she's connected to his wife and her life force is connected. What are you gonna do? Because clearly you don't want her to die. Because clearly she's connected to your wife.
He
It
just wants to
doesn't
stab her
make
but not
any
kill her for
sense.
some reason. So
Oh,
Shomaru
it hurts my
leaves his kids,
soul.
on the battlefield. And Kimimaro is like, you know what, whatever, fine, I'm done, whatever. And then the girls go and attack him. He's like, I would have let you walk away if you had just walked away. Like, I was not about to like track you down. Like, I was not in the mood to fight you right now. And he's like, well, I guess I have to. And he's like, I'm not gonna hold back this time. And the girl's like, you're lying. You were holding back last time. And like, he literally beat you like rag dolls last time. Like, he literally just tossed you around and beat you like you were nothing, and you didn't
All right,
understand he
so
was holding back.
the first time we even meet Karen Maru, he's like, half demons exist. Clearly, I've got to kill all of them because they're fated to be my demise. Clearly, he doesn't care about that anymore, just about having a good fight. And then he's like, yep,
Yeah,
we had a good fight. I only killed one of you, but I'll let the other two of you live, even though I have the upper hand and I could kill you right now. And I hope to see you in the future and have a good fight, completely ignoring the fact that I'm destined to die to one of you. What?
yeah.
What?
Oh my God, what is happening? What is happening? So yeah, he
Well,
killed
and then
Tessna. He wasn't even trying to kill her. Like,
no,
he got mad for a second. He got mad for a second and literally cut her almost in half. And he was like, oh crap, my bad.
oh,
Well,
whoops, my
Sega's
bad,
broken,
my
so I
bad.
guess she can't be brought back. Whatever. I'm out.
Yeah, and it's like I'm gonna kill her. He kills her kind of by accident, and then all of a sudden you've got Moroha, who we've just completely thrown out the window and forgotten the whole idea that every time she turns into Beniyasha, but she becomes more Beniyasha because she's like, yeah, even though I've been doing this several times and I know how it works, and I no longer have my rainbow pearl, now when I do it, I feel way more powerful and suddenly have a 10x boost to my strength, even though that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And now I don't really care, and I can be Beniyasha for a long time, and we can fight in this
Yeah.
weird outer space realm, and I'm gonna have
Yeah,
a
so
giant,
Toa creates
tiger
outer
thing.
space. Toa literally creates out of space, and they fight in this space that's just like
And
there's
they like
planets
destroy
and there's
planets,
stars,
and
and it's like, what's happening? Did Studio Trigger take over this anime for the last episode? Like,
I
why are
know.
they in space?
And it's ridiculous, and it doesn't make any logical sense or any consistency or anything like that. And of course, as you would expect, at the very end of the episode, because Tensaiga broke in almost exactly the way that Toa's sword is broken, that she just like charges up. Shomaru just shows up again, and he's like, "Hey, here," and gives it to Toa with the idea, intentionally, that she could just power it up and kill those demons that are that are causing the death of her sister with the sword. So
So
nothing really happened.
I didn't realize this until this episode. Toa is just Kuwabara from Yu Yu Hakusho, right? Kuwabara has the sword with the energy. He has this punk attire, and he's like the rebel that like is like always in fights and at school, and he can't like fit in with the other crowds because he's always like so rebel. That's just Toa. They just copy and paste Kuwabara into the anime.
Yeah. Well, I also didn't appreciate that you've had this whole dream butterfly thing the whole season. You get no explanation from it. She just dies, and so it's gone. No
Yeah,
information about who put it there. No information about what, how it affects her other than taking her sleep away. You don't know how,
yeah. As
how were you
Setsuna
supposed to
like
get rid of it? It
lying there
just
dying,
disappeared.
the dream butterfly comes back, and so it seems that when Setsuna comes back, it seems that her memories and her dreams are going to be back. So like that whole the whole core premise of this show no longer exists. Like the whole core premise was we're going to find this butterfly, help Setsuna, and be out.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
got what you came
I
for. At this point, go home. Go back home, Toa. Like, there's no reason for you to be there anymore. Just go back. Well, I guess home is the feudal era for her, but like, it's like what? There's no point anymore.
Yep. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I look forward to never watching this show again. Erik, please tell me if anything interesting happens next season, because guess what?
I
I'm never
will.
watching it again. The show was a
I
dumpster
will.
fire, and I'm ready to be done with it forever. I don't understand how it got greenlit for another season because it's hot, 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 flaming, raging garbage. Okay, this is by
We
far
can use
my. It's the worst show this
we can
season.
use this show as kind of like a gauge in terms of a person's taste in anime, depending on how much you hate this show. Like if you like it,
Yeah,
we know that maybe your opinions aren't that great.
yeah,
If you hate it
yeah.
as much as us, we like, oh, okay, at least that's a starting point.
That's a start. Yeah, it's a baseline. All right, Horimiya,
Horimiya.
a show that I hated less this week. I really felt Horimiya was going down a real bad path with this Hori's weird personality, like for a long time. But we got a lot of not that this week, which is great. You got a
Yeah,
lot of little green haired dude and his little sister,
and a
and it was a
sister.
cute
Yeah.
little story.
So Shu gets revealed that he
Yeah,
has a little sister, and so she's struggling. She's struggling to like. She tries really hard. Like she gives everything she can. He notes that like her textbooks are literally like the pages are literally worn out because she's like studying so
yeah,
hard
she's
and flipping the
trying
pages so
super hard,
much,
and it
and like
starts
she
out where
just
she
can't
her guidance
pass. She
counselor her guidance counselor's like, you don't have the grades to get into that school, and he's kind of a jerk,
yeah,
and it's like,
like
yeah,
and so I feel like the show does a really good job at making you relate to, sympathize, and feel for the characters. Because like we literally met her this episode, and I'm already like, man, she's a hardworking person. It just, I mean,
yeah,
sometimes you just don't got the talent. Sometimes it just doesn't happen, and that's just life, you know. And so I feel
yeah,
for her. And
yeah,
so she couldn't pass, and like her, and it seemed at first it feels like their relationship is really like cold and passive because he gets home like he's such a like energetic guy at school. So when he gets home and he's like, "So what happened? Okay, that happened. Okay, all right." And they just have the bare minimum conversations with each other, and so you think that they like hate each other, but turns out he like cares for her so much. And the moment he heard that a teacher laughed at her, he was like, "All right, I guess I'm about to beat up an old man today." And I'm like,
yeah,
"Okay."
yeah. No, and it was really cute and sweet. The only thing I didn't like about this episode is now they've like woven in a lot of stupid comedy on the front ends of the episodes, like
Yeah.
where they like super deformed look, or I hate that. Like, you don't need that in the show. This is a real serious show, and you don't need the crutch, you know. You don't need the
I
stupid
so
comedy part.
I feel like the manga probably just like has a bunch of weeks where it just does like random stuff, and then like they're just trying to cram as much into it. So they have like so every episode has like a main like, oh, it's going to be about Shu, but then they just bookend it with like, oh, and here's chapter 12 and here's chapter 13 and here's a hint to this chapter, and it's like
Yeah,
it'd be much better if they just like gave each segment their own episode instead of trying to like cover multiple
yeah.
things.
I agree. I agree. But I like this episode a lot better. And I'm in for this. So
Yeah, we got the Skater
Skate.
Boys. We got the Skater Boys. So
Uh,
a lot of plot happened in this episode, right?
it
So
did.
this episode starts
Erik,
with
your
Mia losing to
boy.
Tadashi.
Your boy.
Huh?
No, man, your boy. I'm so concerned
Oh my!
about
I
your
was getting to it.
boy.
I was getting, like
Oh, oh.
everyone gets seriously injured this episode. First, Mia loses to Dashi, right? Right after we see Cherry just lying on the bed, lying on the floor, and everyone's like, "Oh, rush Cherry to the hospital. He's been like knocked unconscious." All right, so we're right at that point. So then after he loses, Langer and Reki still aren't talking to each other. And then while this whole thing is happening where they're like trying to figure out, okay, are we still friends? Are we gonna talk to each other? Is this gonna work out? Like Shadow gets beat with a baseball bat. Like
He
he
does,
gets
and he protects the lady that he loves at the flower shop, and it's so
oh my
cute.
god.
Somebody's just
Oh
mad at
my
him because he won
god.
the race, and they come at him with a
Yeah,
baseball bat, and he's like, "Get down!" And like, Shadow's a hero, man.
he
Shadow
is.
is a
He is.
hero. I'm
Shadow is my
so
boy.
concerned about
And
him.
that punk from episode one that just lost. That punk from episode one comes back in the worst way and is like, hey, my girlfriend dumped me because you beat me in a race. So I'm gonna bust your head in. And I'm like,
I know.
bro, she clearly didn't like you to begin with. Is she gonna dump you over a skateboarding race? Like, are you like, bro, she was never yours to begin with. And she's gonna dump you over
Oh my
that.
god. And then
Like,
in the
oh
end,
my
our
god.
boys get back. Our boys get back together in the end, though. They're in
But you
lesbians with each other.
But you skipped on the part where Reki gets hit by a car.
Oh yeah,
So
Ricky gets it
so so Reki, like, they go to the hospital. Everyone's trying to go to the hospital to be like, oh, Shadow's like is really beaten up. Like, he can't even race now. So like he's gonna have to drop out of the tournament. And everyone goes to the hospital to see about Shadow. And so
Yeah,
Reki meets up with Mia, and Mia yells at him like, hey man, you literally told me that like if I become an S like ranked skater, that we're still friends and you weren't gonna quit. But Langa comes up in like the ranks and you quit. Like, you're literally a liar. Like
yeah, yeah.
flat out. So he runs out on Mia and gets hit by a car. Tadashi runs
But
him over.
it's been driven by Tadashi, and then Tadashi's plan is to take him to a love motel to try to pay him
Oh
off
my
too.
god.
And it's the most awkward scene because it's like nobody has that ship. Okay, nobody ships
Nobody.
that. There's a
Nobody.
lot of
If
ships in
that's your
this show.
ship,
That's
please
not one
leave,
of
sir.
those.
Please get on the closest like lifeboat out. You're not welcome on this ship.
Oh
But
my god.
so yeah. So while they're having an argument, Reki finally realizes, oh, I remember why I love skating so much, and he finally like goes to Langa and they make up and they skate together.
Excuse. I remember why I love Langa so much. That was the subtext. That was
Yo,
the subtext.
yo.
Oh,
At this point, they're literally skating for each other, and
they
they both
are.
determine that that's only their only enjoyment comes from not skating, but skating for each other. And like at this point, it's just straight up like, you're nice. Like, there's like they just like they,
They're born to make history, Erik. They're
oh my
born to
god,
make
oh
history.
my god. Lenga called Reki his senpai. No, his sensei, his sensei.
It's
And I'm
so
like,
cute.
oh my god, please stop.
Gator
But
boys.
the episode ends with Adam realizing that Shadow can't escape. So it seems that Adam is going to force Reki to take Shadow's place in the tournament, which is weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's not really how a tournament works. You can't just skip the first two
Yeah.
rounds and it get pushed to the semis. But
You just
okay,
gotta buy. Yeah,
whatever.
because Sherry's hurt and Joe got defeated, and there's like a lot. He went through like all of these things, and yeah, but we'll see. We'll see. We had 2 episodes of Titan this week because the one was delayed from last week. So a lot of stuff, a lot of plot on Titan
Oh
this
my
week.
god.
Yep.
So
Eric and I are.
because we had 2 weeks, of Titan episodes, I was like, okay, this is way too much plot. This is way too much plot for us to remember for the stream. So I started taking detailed notes about what's happening, and I was like, okay, let me write this whole like 3 paragraph like essay about what happened in Titan. And I'm like, it's so much. It's so much.
It is. All right, so in the first episode, you've got everybody at the table. Aaron and Mikasa and Armin are all at the table with Gabby, and Aaron's like, "Here's what my plan is," and he's already cut his hand to like threaten them to turn into a Titan, and then he's a total jerk to everybody at the table, and then
Yeah.
Armin gets real mad when he's a jerk to Mikasa and just jumps across the table and starts to beat him in the face because Armin is done with him. But Aaron's got like all the power in this situation, and he controls all the soldiers and stuff because they're like loyalists to him and stuff. And he's
But the thing
taking
is,
Gabby now.
Mikasa is the one that stopped Armin, right? Because the Aaron
Yeah,
reveals that apparently Mikasa's like fascination with him isn't like 100% her own will. Apparently, like, because of her bloodline, she's kind of like a pearl, where she's just like like supposed to be like attached to somebody, and she accidentally attached
yeah,
herself to Aaron when he told her like to live when they were kids. And so if you go back and watch that episode, there's a moment where there's like this green spark is shown in Mikasa's brain, and apparently like that we just like wrote as being like, oh, it's just for effect. But no, apparently that was the moment where like it literally was hardwired into Mikasa's brain to protect
yeah,
Aaron at all costs. So Aaron basically
yeah.
says, "Hey, I kind of hate you because you're just like you're literally like a puppet. You don't even like me. You're just following like your instinct." And so
Yeah,
she
but
kind of accidentally
I
proves it.
No, Eren, I think Eren knows that he's gonna die soon, and he's trying to like get him to distance himself from her so that she can go on with her life. And I feel like that was all just him pushing her away. Like that just feels like
Yeah.
that's what it was. Like he's trying to push both of them away as much as he can. But the cool
I
part
can't
of that
imagine Eren
episode,
really hating Mikasa.
oh yeah, no. The cool part of
It
that
feels like,
episode, definitely the next part of that episode where Levi and Zeke are out in the woods and Levi's
yeah,
men find this miraculous wine that only the officers are allowed to drink. And they're like, why not? Let's have some wine.
yo.
So
And
there's
then
the
Z asks, "You got any more wine?" And Levi's like, "Nah, they drank it all, every last drop." And it's like, "It's good. That's exactly what I wanted to hear." So
oh
then
my
Zeke
god, it was the
yells, and they
funniest.
all turn to Titans.
It's the funniest scene because they're just having this super serious conversation and he's just sitting there reading a book. Zeke's like sitting there reading a book, and all of a sudden he just gets up and runs away. And you have no idea what's going on because he's just like booking it through the woods. And I'm like, what? And then he
Even
starts
Levi
screaming
didn't
and
immediately like chase after him. Levi was like just standing
yeah,
there for a
that's what I
second,
was like,
like,
what?
"Bro, what are you doing? Why are you running on foot? Like, we have like omnidirectional gear. Why are you running on foot?" And he just yells, and all of a sudden, all the scouts get turned into Titans,
All of them turn
except for
into
Levi.
Titans. Yeah. Yeah, and all the Titans attack him, and Zeke's like, "Well, cool, I took care of that problem." And then Levi's like, "Nope." And Levi has slaughtered all of his men,
He comes
every
back
single
completely
one of them.
bloodstained. Zeke was like, "You're
Oh
not going to
man,
kill your comrades," and Levi was like, "No, that is literally a part of the job. Like, I've killed so many comrades at this point that a few more isn't even going to do it for me."
yep.
Levi is
And it
100% full
was a
of
really cool
everyone's
scene.
shit. Like, Levi is
He
100%
is
done.
done.
He's
He's
done with
done,
Aaron.
man.
He's done with
Done.
Zeke. He's done with all the people that were traitors. He's done with the whole the Jaegerists. He's done. He's done.
Ugh. All right, so then we move on to the next episode of what's happening in Titan, and which was like the one from this week that was supposed to be for this week. You get a flashback of Zeke and basically how Zeke was like weirdly indoctrinated, but then his parents were concerned more with the Eldian movement than they were with him, and he winds up making friends with the guy who was a scientist who was previously the Beast Titan, and they play baseball. Oh, I get it, because he throws the ball like
Yeah,
the Titan
that's their
does.
bond. That's why the Beast Titan just plays baseball, because that's your only bond.
But that guy is also like, an Eldian scientist, and he's like, I wanted to research Titans. I'm not even very strong. And Zeke is in like the program, like the same. He's the same as freaking Falco because he's
Yeah, pretty
like
much.
terrible. And then he becomes much better at it when he becomes friends with this guy, and then he becomes the Titan. But when the guy finds out that his parents are like secret Eldian sympathizers and stuff like that, and this guy like he's like, oh my god, I don't want you to die. The only thing you can do is rat out your parents because otherwise you're gonna die, and they're gonna make you into like a mindless Titan, and you're gonna die along with them. But maybe we can save you and your grandparents if you rat out your parents. So that's exactly what he does.
Yeah, at the
But
time when we first heard about Zeke doing this, like we was like, wait a minute, that makes no sense. Like, what are you doing? But now it feels like all of Zeke's motivation, like if you unravel the motivation, the motives behind them, all his actions make logical sense in the moment.
yeah,
So
and the crux of it comes down to the scientist guy has imparted to Zeke that he's been studying Titans and thinks that the founding Titan can change biology, and Zeke's new plan is to have the founding Titan make all Eldians sterile. So there will be no more Eldians from here on out. They just basically can't reproduce. So, all right, there's a lot wrong from here on out that doesn't make sense. So let's take it step by step. You've got Zeke, who takes over the Beast Titan. He meets Eren when Eren comes, and he's on Marleyan mainland, and Eren buys into this same thing about basically sterilizing his entire people. I don't really know why. Eren's motivations don't make nearly as much sense as Zeke's motivations for this. And because Eren wasn't privy to the same indoctrination that Zeke was on the Marley mainland with like the whole ghetto situation and his weird parents. And I don't know why Eren is on board for this, because it just,
Yeah, if anything, Zeke's motivations make sense, because he's not really, Zeke isn't, he's using war as a method in order to eventually have peace. He eventually just wants like things to just not be terrible, right? Eren, on the other hand, Eren has always had one goal, and that was to kill a Titan, right? Eren wants revenge on everyone that's ever put him in that situation. So for Eren to say his goal is eventually to have a world that can just be peaceful, no, you've always wanted revenge. So it doesn't really, it does feel like Eren might be trying to like 2 times Zeke, and he might be saying he's on board with the plan, but he's not really, because Eren wanting to like,
make sense to me.
Yeah, that this doesn't bring Eren's core motives to fruition, because Eren just wants to like destroy everything that has ever wronged him.
Yeah, I don't know. At the very end of the episode, Levi is taken. Levi keeps telling Zeke, "I'm going to cut your arms and legs off," and then actually does cut his arms and legs off, which
multiple
was
times.
delightful. He was setting that up, and I was all about it, man. But then he takes Zeke to a place where like he can be eaten by another Titan, so they can take over his stuff, you know. And Zeke, he's like in a spike that's going to cause an explosion, and he's like, nope, guess I'm done, and just triggers the explosion, and that's like the end of the episode. So we don't know what's going to happen next.
Yeah, there was one more thing this episode sets up. So when Zeke turned all the soldiers in the forest into Titans, he also, like, that roar was heard throughout the entire, like, I guess, nation. So even people that were nowhere near the forest started freezing up. And then Falco was like, I feel like electricity is running through my body. So something's about to happen to the other people. We don't know what. We don't know, because they didn't immediately turn into Titans, so they probably won't. But something's definitely about to happen with them.
Yeah, well, and I think Falco's the one who's destined to eat somebody, you know, to be a Titan. So we'll see how that goes. I mean, we may be close to that. Oh, Wonder Egg this week. Wonder Egg was
so much happened in every show this week. So much happened. Oh my God.
Mom, can you kill this fly over here? I got another fly.
Oh my God. So in this one, Rika completes her, like, the Wonder Egg challenge, whatever you call it. So Rika completes her thing, and she saves her best friend, right? And so as Rika is like, oh man, I finally did it. Like, my best friend, like, her soul was saved or whatever. I don't know. So as this happens, this new girl, or this new monster called Dot, shows up, and like, hey, and just kills Rika's pet. Just instantly kills it. Just brutally murders it right in front of her. And Rika's like, hold the phone.
And then she's
Rika,
like,
Rika tries to fight back, but she just breaks her swords, right? And that was one thing I had. That was one issue I had with last episode, where Momoe didn't even fight back. She just laid down and took it, right? Rika tried to fight back, and it showed that Dot, like, it's not even the same league. Like, Dot just like broke her swords without even like without sweat. So and then what you're about to say, offered her to eat her pet, and it cuts to the next scene. So it seems like eating their pet somehow symbolizes something, because it's weird that both of them would like have to eat their own pet after it was killed.
Then you get the entire rest of the episode is a story from Uraraka about Akka and Uraraka's background, which doesn't actually get to the point where they leave their human bodies. I'll point out, we still don't know when that happened or why that happened. Okay, but you start out, they're two dudes who are working for some like NSA level clearance kind of place, and they work in their homes. They're surveilled all the time, and they're like super smart scientisty programmer dudes, and they're like, we want a personal project. So they wanted to create an AI in the form of like a little girl that could be like their daughter. So they make Frill. They make an AI with like pre-programmed with a bunch of like attributes of a little girl or whatever, and apparently psychopathic freaking tendencies too, as we'll get to in a moment. And they like birth her in a bathtub, and then they don't even give her a name. They're like, "What's your name?" And she's like, "Frill." And she's like a little girl, and she grows up with them. But
very Freya, very much Freya vibes from Chobits.
Yeah, she's definitely got those happy smiling but dead behind the eyes kind of going on there. And she's very intelligent. They made her very intelligent and stuff. And so Akka, they meet. We'll turn it on then. Just get Stucky to do the nest or something. That's fine. So they make this girl, and then Akka meets a woman, and they both like the woman, but then Akka winds up getting with her, and they get married, and she's pregnant, and of course this little AI girl, who is a monster on the inside, decides, yeah, I don't like that you're not going to be paying attention to me, and that all of this stuff is changing, so she like tries to murder the woman when she's really pregnant, but they save the baby. The woman's dead now, but they save the baby. And so Akka is like, oh, no. And he just goes nuts. And instead of doing the logical thing and like disconnecting her power source, or, dismembering her or putting her under or anything like that, he decides that the decision that he wants to do is lock her in a basement room full of electronics in this like cellar for 14 years and not open it, because that makes sense from your super smart AI that you've created that's functionally immortal as far as we know. So the little girl that was they gave birth to, the woman gave birth to, grows up and gets to be like maybe 14 or 15 and has this really weird, inappropriate interlude with Uraraka, who is like her uncle, but not really her uncle, but her uncle. Not like in a he wasn't being creepy. She was being creepy, right? And she's like, if you can wait a little while, I'll marry you and stuff like that. And it's like, no, dude, he's way older than you. But that night, after like her birthday, she mysteriously commits suicide. So now Uraraka is mad, and he goes and he pulls Frill out of this thing, and you find her surrounded by like computer monitors and has built this entire infrastructure when apparently they weren't paying any attention to things like a power draw from their basement. But okay, I guess we're going with that now.
So you cut out the part. So apparently the reason why he suspected Frill was behind this is because Frill had this mannerism where she like popped her lip every single time like she would say something. And so right before the daughter, the human daughter that he had, right before she killed herself, or like the day before, she did the exact same thing. And he was like, it was driving him crazy. Like, wait a minute, why are you doing that? Literally, Frill is the only person that does that. And so he was going crazy, like trying to figure out what's going on. And that's when she killed herself. So it seems that Frill somehow was using the monster that we saw in the present that killed Momoe's pet and Rika's pet this episode. Those two monsters, apparently Frill is able to use them in order to like somehow get into people's dreams and manipulate, kind of like Inception. It's like pulling Inception on them. So it seems that she's like causing all these. It seems like she's causing a massive epidemic of girls committing suicide, not only in her own home but around the country.
Yes.
So that's why Akka and Uraraka make the Wonder Eggs in order to try to monitor what is she doing and how is this affecting like the female demographic in Japan.
Yeah, but they've given you very little information on how any of this works, and you still don't know how Akka and Uraraka transplanted their brains into puppets. You still don't know how the Wonder Eggs work, or if they're meaningful, or if they've actually saved anyone. Because everyone's friend who got saved just basically turns into a ghost, kind of, and moves on, and they don't actually come back as far as we know. So
yeah, I don't know what's happening. I don't know if we're gonna get an answer. You might have, let's see, so this is episode 11. Maybe this was to be a 13 episode show. So maybe there's a possibility to have it wrapped up in 2. It does feel like there's a lot of loose threads though.
There are. I feel like there's just a ton, but who knows? We'll see. Slime.
All right.
Slime.
My
Great
favorite.
this
I
week.
think I can officially say Slime is my favorite show of the season. My boy Rimuru delivered. He delivered. He did. Everyone was like, "Oh, it's not that type of show. Rimuru would never just kill these humans." Nope. He was like, he continued killing the 20,000 humans that were in the camp. Um, and then he finished the demon ceremony or the festival. He harvested their souls, and I'm like, yes, Rimuru did not skip a beat. He said he's going to do it, and he did it. And I appreciate that he didn't like try
Yep.
to be like, oh no, he's a good guy, so we're just going to pretend. They didn't pretend like they did with what's her name, the girl from like 2 episodes ago.
Yep. Nope. Didn't pretend at all. I like in the end too. So he does this whole thing. He kills a bunch of people. I think my favorite scene in the entire episode was, "Oh, don't worry, sir. I'm your number one knight. I'm gonna go use my special power to protect this or that." And he walks out the door and takes one step out the door and immediately dies.
Yeah.
Immediately. Like it's like, well, guess that's not gonna work. Okay. A couple of things
Like I
didn't
feel
make
like
sense to me in this episode. Like, I don't get why he didn't just kill the king. He clearly is going to replace the king. Why not just kill the king right there and save yourself the hassle? He's already decided he's going
yeah.
to replace the king. So that just seems
I
like a
don't know.
loose
I don't know what
end.
benefit he has of bringing the king to the. He brings the king back to Tempest, um, and
Yeah.
so he also and so also at the
Yeah,
when
and now
he finished killing all those people, the ceremony started even though he didn't want it to start at the moment. So the ceremony started, so he kind of like short on time. So he had Ranga bring him back to Tempest, and he summoned a
yeah.
demon. He summoned a demon called Kuro that we saw on season 1. At the very end of season 1, we saw Kuro tell like the viewer that eventually he'll meet Rimuru and they'll be like best buddies. And so Kuro finally comes into play, and he gets the old man that was trying to like pretend to be dead because apparently like he's like immortal kind of ish, but not
Yeah.
really. So he brings the old man with him too. After they have like this battle, and the old man is like,
Yep.
"Oh, you're not worthy of like this fight. I'm gonna beat you real quick." And Kuro reveals that he's like one of the original demons or something. And
Yeah.
so he brings the old man back, and the ceremony finishes in Tempest, and that's when Rimuru gets all these like upgrades. He gets this massive amount of upgrades.
Yep.
He becomes immune to pretty much everything at this point. Um, and then the big thing is that Great Sage, which is like the AI or the being that he always talks to that gives him information, she
Yeah.
requests she petitions she petitioned the words of the world, which is kind of like the God, the presence of God in the world. And so she petitions that and her petition gets granted. So she gets upgraded to Raphael as well. So she now becomes an entire like personality, because before she was kind of like this stoic character that kind of only like gave like yes no answers, and sometimes she was a little sarcastic, but she pretty much was really like stoic and didn't really have much of personality. But it seems like she actually has her own personality now, and that she's going to be making decisions independently from simply what Rimuru tells her to do.
Right. Right. Yeah. This was a very interesting episode. I appreciate when he's leveling all his stuff, he has to give up some other skills because he tries to level one skill and then fails a whole bunch of times and then gives up another skill in order to level that skill and actually succeeds. And I like that. It felt real, like you're playing a video game and you did it and it's like, oh, that didn't work. Oh, I don't have enough
Yeah.
points. I got to sacrifice this and do that. And at the very end of the episode, all of those people that were dead are miraculously coming back to life. So that's exciting.
Yeah.
It was a nice one. I feel like we've only got one more episode of this for this season. So,
Well, the thing
or
is,
for
this
this
this is 2
section.
cores. Yeah, so this is 2 cores, and it's immediately going to jump into core 2. I think it's going to take a week off, and then there's going to be 12 more episodes. And also, while those
Yeah.
12 episodes are airing, there's going to be a side series taking place called Slime Diaries. It's going to be starting in April, which is going to be like a slice of life, kind of like not murderous version of the show.
Well,
So
this show, hey, everybody's about the genocide this season, and Rinmaru is no slouch. Okay, no
So
slouch.
the funny thing is though, right? the show did a really good job of making you forget how violent it was. Like I started rewatching some of the episodes from season one. They were trying to like refresh on the plot, and Rimuru was always killed lots of people. Like people have been dying every episode. Right? He does it in such a like almost humanitarian way. And it's like you forget how many people have died so far. So like him just
Yeah,
dropping 20,000 lives at once, it was like a big upgrade. But it's like it still was like very much the show. You know, it wasn't a genre change.
yeah. I like the show. Now, speaking of shows I don't really like, I'm gonna be
Oh
glad to
boy.
be done with ReZero. Okay, I don't know that I hated this episode. Yeah, I think I'm done with ReZero. I'm pretty done with ReZero.
Yeah.
So
So
somebody really should have taught Amelia how basic, anatomy and the birds and the bees work, because she clearly
apparently
does
that was
not
Puck.
understand.
Like apparently Puck is pretty much the only person that she had to teach her like things since Fortuna died. And so the show is going out of its way to remind you that Amelia has the mental age of a 14-year-old. Like Subaru is like 18 and Amelia is mentally 14. And she doesn't even know. Like she seriously 100% thought she was pregnant because she kissed him. That's how even saying she has a mental age of 14 might be like too much. Like Amelia literally is a child.
Yeah,
So their
yeah.
relationship is a little weird.
This episode started out with Beatrice like wrecking face on some bunnies. Like
Yeah.
basically the whole bunny population is wiped out now, and Beatrice and Subaru are BFFs. So that was fun. But the weirdest part of this episode is now Roswald is on the good guy side, and to put Roswald, who, from all I've seen, has been a bad guy and a pretty like vicious bad guy in some incarnations, is we're all gonna slap him or punch him in the face once and then ask him to say he's sorry.
Yeah, like even if you had seen season one, it's like he's always been sketchy at the very least. But people accepted him for that, and they still decided to live in his home. He invited them to live in his home. He employed like half the people in that room, like the little girl, um, Petra. He allowed her to be one of his maids whenever because he just wanted to like be around Subaru. Um, the girl with Garfield's older sister. She's been employed
Yeah.
forever. Ram and Rim are both employed there. So it's like they accepted that's just who he is, even though he's always been a sketchy guy. But now he was like a murderous sketchy guy. Like it's very
Yeah.
different. It's very different. He literally tried to kill all of you. And the only reasonable person in the room, I feel, was Petra. This little kid was like, hey, guys, he tried to kill
Yep.
me. Like, guys, I can't forgive this. Like, what are you guys
Yeah.
doing? He tried to
Yeah.
kill us.
It seemed very sudden and weird. And then the end of the episode was all like smiles and happy roses, and Subaru's getting knighted, and everything's great, and we're gonna dance the night away. And it's like, is this like a bad dream? Is Sadako gonna
Yeah,
show up and like set
I
the loop over again? I mean, like, what are we doing
I kept
here?
I kept expecting for a bomb to like go off in the middle of the dance floor. Like I thought something bad was gonna happen. Because I mean, I guess every season it technically ends on a happy note because last season ended similar where we beat the bad guy, everything's happy. But then literally season two started off like 10 minutes later and everything just goes up in flames, right? So it
Yeah,
seems
yeah,
like it might be happy for right this moment, but they've raised a lot of death flags because at the very end, Amelia was like, "Oh, Subaru, come to my room tonight. I have something very, very important to tell you, and it's going to be major. But I'm not going to tell you right now." That is an obvious death flag. Something major is going to happen. This meeting is not going to happen. Somebody's about to die. Subaru's going to have to reset something. So it's like, I mean, that's just the course the show goes in.
yep, yeah.
So
I agree. I agree. Are we getting another episode of this, or is it going into a new season in the future or
this
something?
was the list. This was the last episode of the season, I think.
Okay. Okay.
All
I
right.
hope you enjoyed the crap that I picked this week.
I mean, this show. I mean, it's a
It's a
representation
harem
of the
show.
time of anime it came out. Of like this like it has
It is.
every trope from I don't know like early 2000s. Like oh
Yeah.
it's fan servicey. It's dumb comedy. It's like nobody has any self awareness. No one asks anybody any questions. They're just gonna go with whatever. Oh, I'm just gonna believe that you're like trying to like sneak into my bedroom, even though you give a perfectly reasonable like explanation of the situation. But nope, I'm just gonna cut you down now. It's like there's just so
Yep.
many tropes in this that's just really evident in
It
the early
is.
2000s.
I
That
didn't
it's
choose
like
this one because it was quality. Okay, this was on the crap list. Okay, this is not the worst anime I've seen. I really like the character design in this show. I think I like blue haired girl. Did you ever watch Kimi ga no Zomu Ein? I don't know what it was called in the States. I
I'm not
watched it in
sure.
Japanese.
I don't think so.
She's got the same hairstyle, and I like that hairstyle with the blue hair. And I think that's the only reason I really like this show is because I like the girl in the blue hair and her weird thong and her like samurai stuff. And I think that's
Did you
the only
watch this in
reason. But
English or
I watched it the
Japanese?
whole season. I watched in Japanese.
See, I decided to watch this in English because whenever, for most, I watch as many spin the wheel shows in English. Maybe I can do something else in the meantime. So
That's fair.
I watched this in English, and it has a pretty good, it has, it has a pretty nostalgic A-list cast. Like it has so many familiar voices that you will only know if you watch anime in the 2000s because none of these voice actors
Yeah.
are still around. And it's like, oh, I remember that guy. Dang, I remember like when he stopped being a voice actor. Oh, I remember her.
Yeah.
So it's really fun to listen to the dub. I kind of like the red haired girl, her character design, but her voice is intentionally like the dumb one, and so it's like it's hard
Yeah.
to like her because it's like she's just so like cliche. Oh, I literally don't have a single brain cell.
Yeah.
So
As a reminder, in 2 weeks we're going to be starting our new season. So if you have a suggestion for us to spin the wheel, the link is down below. If you see on the bottom of the screen right now, for Bitly Anime Spin the Wheel, and we want to hear from you. It has to be from Verve, Crunchyroll, or Funimation. It can't be pornographic because we're not that kind of show. Although this show had some boobies in it. I don't know if you noticed
yeah,
that, but there were some boobies in this
there's
show.
a fine line
Um,
between etchy and pornographic.
that's true. And it has to be something that you think we haven't seen, whether it's a hidden gem or whether it's a hidden terror and we will hate it forever. So yeah, if it's not on one of those platforms, don't consider it. And if it's something super popular, we've already seen it. If we've both already seen it, then we're not gonna watch it. We're not watching Dragon Ball. We're not watching Sailor Moon. We're not watching Full Metal Alchemist. We're not watching anything super duper common. We're not watching My Hero. Everybody's seen these shows. We've seen these shows. Give us something
On that
new.
note,
Give us something.
season 5 of My Hero starts this weekend.
It does. It does. Oh, and in 2 weeks we're going to be starting the spring anime season set. Next week we'll be finishing up the winter, and we will probably have one or two shows that'll carry over one more episode into the next week. But starting 2 weeks from today, we're going to be doing some other, a whole new set of shows. Some of the ones that we're looking at we're definitely doing Fruits Basket season 3 because I'm watching that myself anyway.
I have to get caught up.
We're doing The World Ends With You. We're doing the new Zombieland show, the Nagatoro-san show, the new Battle Athletes, and we'll have a more full list next week, and we'll talk about it some more. But yeah,
Yeah.
we have a new format too for spinning the wheel. You got that ready?
Is it
Not
digital?
for tonight. No.
It's a surprise for all users.
No, it is. It will be a surprise for later. We have 3 shows left on Spin the Wheel. And tonight, because we only have one more episode for the rest of the winter season, we'll have brand new shows for Spin the Wheel next season. We're going to pick 2 of them.
Let's get both of mine. Come on. Come on.
All right.
Come on. Give me them odds. Give me them odds.
24.
Come on. Give me them odds.
Right. So, yeah, the first 8 are going to be my show. The second 8 are going to be the first one of your shows, and the third 8 will be.
No whammies, no whammies.
Here we go. We're going to pick 2 shows, though. All right. First one is going to be Problem Children Are Coming from Another World, aren't they?
All right. Come on. Give me my second show. Give me my second show. Come on. Let's not have Jess's dumpster fire make this list. Come on.
If my dumpster fire doesn't make it, it's going on the wheel next
Come
season. Don't worry.
on. Big money, big money.
Guess which one it is?
Oh no. What is it?
All right. It is the Icon OVA. There are only 2 parts to it, so you gotta watch both of them. I'm gonna suffer through it too. It's the worst anime I've ever seen in my entire life. It's on Verve.
How dare you?
So don't worry.
How dare you? Oh my God! How is it worse than that show we watched like 3 weeks ago with the one I said was Dear Brother? How can anything be worse than Dear Brother?
Oh, Erik, Icon is so much worse than Dear Brother. You don't even know.
Oh my
okay?
God!
It's awful.
I'm not even gonna watch it. I'm gonna look at the Spark Notes. I'm not even gonna watch it.
You have to watch it. You're contractually obligated to watch it. The wheel has spoken. The wheel has spoken. Okay.
I am excited. I am looking forward to watching a little bit more Problem Children come from another world. I remember liking it. It's been a long time since I've seen it, and so I am kind of looking forward to see if it holds up after all these years.
Yeah. Well, join us next week for our final episode of the winter anime season, and in 2 weeks for our start of the spring season. Cannot wait to watch with you. If you'd like to follow some of the stuff that we're following in the spring season, I'm going to try to have a list ready for next week, like our full list, so you can follow along with us if you want to get started with us on the first episodes and things like that. And as always, you can catch up on any of the rest of this season on YouTube. I usually put them up within the week. So yeah. Can't wait to see you next week.
All right, now I have to jump into another stream. I'm double booked today.
Yeah, you know. Guys, get ready for the AMV awards. All right. Bye, everybody.